Welcome to Little Birdie Podcast. I'm your host, Scoot. This is Thursday Lines Hour. All areas look at AFL and NRL from the minds of pro punters. And MG, we'll go to you first. It's a happy hunting ground in Melbourne at the moment. It's dry, it's hard and fast, and yeah, AFL's absolutely roaring.
Yeah, it's we're just speaking about the weather before we came on, Scoot. You can't complete a round of golf up there, but we're pretty dry down here. We'll be on a fast track. Footy's going well, and finally the Storm get the job over Penrith Panthers, which is a good result for both Toprope and the Storm fans.
Toprope, how are you, brother? How's the darts league coming along?
Off a big win last night, so it was nice. Nice to get the win. I think we're up to second on the ladder now, so airborne actually. So all well. Certainly better than the punting was last week. Anyway, it was a bit diabolical. Some of the worst beats I've ever caught, but that's footy, I guess.
When they run heavy faves, it's not a happy hunting ground for you. So let's have a quick look at the NRL results. You did get the Panthers right. We sort of stamped that plus as one of the best bets of the round. So it was 30-24. So a big cover there. And they did a really good job, I thought, the Panthers. Warriors 14-6, Broncos 26-16. Sharks absolutely steamrolled the Rabbits, but they had that backdoor cover, which was handy late, 27-12. Some big lines floating around the Rabbits at the moment. Then you got West 30-18. The Finns are in trouble. And then Titans 26-6 over the Knights, and Bulldogs 16-8 to the Eels. So they're looking okay. And then Manly Sea Eagles, flat track bullies 40-12 over the Raiders. Big news this week, DCE. We retweeted an article that you've written, and you think they've, dropped the ball here big time, Manly?
Oh, just a little bit. You got one of the all-time club greats and certainly one of the three best halfbacks in the comp right now, probably one of the best 6 or 7 number 7s in the NRL era, and he doesn't know where he's going, but he's going, which tells you a lot about where the Manly club are at. So this is the basket case of a club who ran the rainbow jersey and then pulled it, and let players pull out of the game. They're an absolute mess of a club, Manly. Couldn't happen to a nicer club either, so great to see. But they're absolute butchers. I can't think of, in all my time following professional rugby league, where a club has panicked so much they've announced a counter offer to a guy during the middle of a TV show. They've called the TV show and said, we're actually going to do it. It was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen a football club of any code do. That was humiliating. So, he's off. He will almost certainly love the Roosters. Dogs are a chance, which would be nice, but they're probably the two teams I would think would be in consideration right now.
I did see a little clip up on Instagram or somewhere across social media, and Braith was talking about all these, the politics of the player agents and who's burnt who, and he went on to list that there was the Broncos as a possible suitor, the Titans, Redcliffe, Roosters, and the Bulldogs as well. But I think it was like a 3-minute clip, and by the end of it, I think he was more confused than what he started out with, and didn't really shed any light on the situation. So you think he's going to stay?
I don't think that was a clip, Screw. I reckon that was just NRL 360 every night where he runs himself around in circles. It's it's a tough watch. I kind of have weaned myself off watching 360, but with the DC stuff, I have had to watch, and it's ridiculous. Some of the claims that have been made are ridiculous. Like, he's got 3 young kids in school in Sydney. His wife's from Sydney. DC is not leaving to go to Queensland. Yes, it would be a romantic story if we went to the Gold Coast. Over to the Dolphins. Some little redemption story if he went to the Titans, but absolutely no chance. He's going to want to go for big money, and he will already have a deal sorted. It's whether it was Nick Police or Phil Gould has already orchestrated all this behind the scenes. That's the only real question mark here, because there's nothing Manly can do to keep him in. And there's the old saying in footy, it's easier to keep someone than go and recruit them. So they've really completely botched this up, Manly. So expect to see DC in blue and white next year, probably with some red in there as well, but possibly not.
Wow, just what they just have the rub of the ground, don't they? The Roosters, that's for sure. And you'll be praying that it's down at the Woofers, your team. AFL media aren't doing a great job either. There's it's scathing across social media. Everyone's had a gutful of the review shows. Good to see. Everyone's finally cottoning on. I don't reckon I've watched a full show of any of the AFL review shows in probably maybe 5 or 6 years since we started this show, MG, which is pleasing. It's just good watching the game and then betting on it and just ignoring all the what is it? They're just so self-absorbed, the AFL media, and just try and weave their way into the action somehow. And just nauseating. But it's good to see that the mainstream footy public are getting behind it. Needs some genuine overhaul in that regard. The AFL itself is not too shabby, though. They went 5 and 8 favourites, 3 of 8 covered, and then the totals were 50-50. Hawks were workmanlike, I thought, against Carlton 80-60 with a bit of weather around there. And then you had Collingwood 76-70 against the Bulldogs, and there was some irate Bulldogs supporters around the umpiring there. So I didn't think there was much in it. But they felt a bit aggrieved. 161 Crows over a hapless Essendon, and the tune's changed here. Bombers have gone from pretty high on the ladder late in the season last year to now just in a full rebuild. So Brad Scott's off the hook in terms of coach sackings, and there's a few that have sort of kicked. Ross Lyon's one of them, 98-91 in a shock victory over the Cats. Apologies there. I went chips in Geelong, got them beat. Port 160-68 Richmond. So bit of regression from the Tigers. No one's going to take them lightly after what they did to Carlton. But as I said, Ross Lyon's off the hook. Brisbane 94-75. West Coast came screaming out of the blocks for a $15 chance. They looked good for half a game of footy. And Kangaroos 125-66 over Melbourne. Goodwin looks like he's in all sorts of trouble and tried to bring Maxi Gawn down with him. And then you've got the Swans getting away with one 68-65 over the Dockers. So yeah, it was a big week of AFL. Interesting week. What were your key takeaways, MG?
Yeah, it's a big week. Hard to compete with the NRL shenanigans going on there, Scoot. You failed to mention that a mascot tried to knock a kid off his blocks and couldn't move him. Up there, you just let that one slip. I noticed Toprope didn't put that near the top of the tree at all. But
in the list of rugby league atrocities, it's not in the top 100. But you all know that the Prime Minister, who wouldn't know Aussie rules existed, did come to the defence of Reggie the Rabbit.
Reggie, oh God!
A fair income. A mascot has a crack at a kid and didn't take a backward step. Good hit. It was a big one.
Here he is, the big man MG, picking on an 80-year-old man trying to make kids happy. Well done.
Well, that's your next problem. You got an 80-year-old mascot running around. Jeez. It's a big week, Scoot. We've the AFL's done it again, hassling the government out of getting a new stadium built in Queensland, where apparently they don't play AFL at all. Scored an Olympic stadium that's going to have a decent capacity finally, instead of selling out the Gabba for, what do we got, 37,000 capacity up there every week. So we're going to get a proper stadium in Queensland to fill up there, where apparently Aussie rules is not known up there. So that'll be a good result for cricket as well there, Scoot.
It took an Olympic Games to get a stadium. So I'd hardly call it an Aussie rules stadium.
I just love the way the Toprope that the AFL just keep building stadiums around the country and don't put in hardly any dollars for it. They're too good on that front. It's amazing how they've hassled them out. But yeah, Scoot, in terms of the AFL round 2, it was a bit of a mixed bag, really. They had some really close games, some good games. We had some upsets, some weather-impeded games. We had some matches that were just off the map, that some didn't come off as well. You know, Geelong, we thought we'd got the bones of it, bet early the week before and went on with the job, and then St Kilda just come out and torch them, and it was over in the first quarter. So sometimes you don't even get a cheer for your ticket. And you're right. The Friday night, Scoot, I mean, I watched it live and then watched the replay. Collingwood Bulldogs, and second time round, it's not any better for the AFL umpires. They've started the season comfortably 0-3 as a collective. They've had a mare, and the AFL have kind of got off light at the moment at this stage. It hasn't shone a light on it, but the umpiring, I think it's got worse, and I'm not sure it's been worse at any other stage, Scoot, to be fair. And the Bulldog supporters, even though we were on Collingwood, Bulldog supporters were more than warranted. I'd like to say it's one of the worst AFL games I've umpired, but unfortunately I watch it every week, and with the replays, it probably doesn't make it to the top 100. But yeah, it was a shocker to start with. So they will be aggrieved, and I'm sure they'll even it up again this week. But we got off to a flyer for this week in the betting scoot. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a wipeout on the Sunday. Couldn't get Brisbane over the line. That was done early, and unfortunately, the total on the Sydney Fremantle game, Fremantle falling back in their own habits of playing like St Kilda.
Yeah, it was disgusting to watch. It was. I think I just flicked it off in the last 5 minutes. I didn't even watch the rest of the game. I was sort of nodding off there on a Sunday night, as I do. But it's a lot going on in the world of sport. You got Illawarra Hawks winning the NBL, Victor Hovland with the PGA, and the Masters only a fortnight away. Scotty Scheffler's the favourite, $5. Rory's a nice label quote at $6.50. It's going to be a fun little golf show that we'll do in a few weeks' time, and then you got March Madness as well in the college hoops, and the tennis is starting to heat up as well. So there's plenty going on, and there's a lot of talk about Adelaide, which is surprising me for the premiership. Hawks are still $4.80 favourite at Top Sport. GWS $5.80. Brisbane $6.50. Geelong are $10. Adelaide are into $11. And same quote for Collingwood, which looks under the odds. They haven't really beaten anyone. They've beaten the Saints, MG, Adelaide, and Essendon, and now they're $11 to win the flag. I just can't see it.
No, if you can Scoot. Complete overreaction. They have belted them and they've done nothing wrong, but they've played two very ordinary sides. So until they play some decent teams, we won't really know how they measure up. But I think I think the top three have cleared out a little bit now, Scoot. They've probably got them in the right order. We'll discuss shortly the Hawthorn Giants game coming up on the Saturday night, and the winner of that comes out will be favourite. Probably going for a little while, I would have thought. Big match, and that'll decide who's favourite. But I think the rest of them are probably battling, and Adelaide are just poisonous odds at this stage.
NRL Premiership, Storm $2.09 after their win. Penrith Panthers $5.50. Broncos $5.50. The Sharks $9.50. And the Eagles, Sea Eagles $13. Top rope, anything?
Nice just to finally get to the most watched code in Australia. It's the one note there is you probably don't want to be taking the $13 about Manly. I can see, maybe not in the near future, I can see the whole situation falling apart for where Manly's at the moment. They're not a club renowned for their resilience, so what's going on with DSK is going to kind of bubble away throughout the year. Once it's announced he's signed to the rest of the Dogs, it's I think it has the potential to get quite ugly. So I'd be laying there. Penrith are getting out to a better price right now. I thought they was very good last week against Melbourne with Nathan Cleary going down 7-8 minutes into the game. Melbourne is still the team to beat. Melbourne are miles ahead of everyone else at the moment, but if you're backing one town at this price, it's probably Penrith.
Just nice little cover-up position. Beautiful. AFL, MG, you're still ticking over at 24.8% pot despite a tough week last week and 12 units for the year, which is good. And you finally had a winning week, Top Rope, so you scraped in 1.58 unit profit, 8%, but you're nearly a flip of MG there at minus 21%, but it's very early days yet. But plenty of action coming up this week, so you can still jump on. $22 a week for MG stuff in Little Birdie pod shop, or $33 for Mr. Tedeschi's. Let's have a look at Thursday night action, and we're going to go AFL first. Essendon versus Port Adelaide. Both teams out of the 8 at this stage, and it's 164 Port Adelaide, 225 the Bombers, 6.5 the line, 183.5 the total. It's at Marvel. MG, I am thinking Port, but I'm not very confident with this one.
Yeah, a bit the same there, Scoot. I think the bookies have actually got this the line pretty much right. If I was forced to have a play at the line, I'd probably just go Port Adelaide just at the minus 5 or 6 range. The market hasn't moved really at all. Port have lost 3 more players. Essendon get Ridley back into hopefully do something in their defensive half. But pretty keen on the over here, Scoot. Being at Marvel won't be weather impacted. Put up 173.5, which I thought was probably almost 2 goals too short. So in terms of ratings, one of one of the freer plays we've had so far this season. So pretty keen to back the over 173. Also went a bit of top rope Ric Flair back in the over 190 and 200 as well, just for smaller units. Market's since gone from 173.5 up to about 183.5, so it's moved 10 points. I'm not sure it's got too much more in it, but Marvel played 3 games this year, averaging 196, so it's been a pretty high-scoring venue. Essendon just leaking defence. And I just think, regardless of who wins the game, I think there'll be plenty of points in this game, Scoot. So in terms of stats, Port have won 8 straight head-to-head against Essendon, and 2 of those have been at Marvel, so... their record at Marvel's actually brilliant, Port. They've won 11 of their last 12 they've covered, so they held no fears going there. And just on form, you'd have to favour Port at least. But yeah, just Essendon got to show something at some stage, Scoot. So we'll go the over for sure.
Beautiful sniping there. 173.5 centres, a 3.5 unit play. So that's what you get if you sign up to MG stuff. My Rabbits versus the Penrith Panthers, both out of the 8 here as well. We've got the Panthers, $1.30 at Top Sport, $3.55 the Bunnies, 10.5 the line here, and the total 49.5. These totals are just massive at the moment. 6 again, almost ruining the game. Some people are saying Nick Tedeschi, but how do we bet here?
I have no idea how the line is so big here. I'll be back in South at the plus and South head-to-head. Penrith, no Nathan Cleary, no Dylan Edwards. So their half pairing will be Jack Cole and Trent Talau. So Trent Talau starting his first game in the NRL after coming off the bench a few times. Home underdogs, we've kind of gone through this. Round 1 to 4 covers 66% when getting at least 4 or more. Panthers have dominated this matchup, but very different team to what we've got here. Souths have covered 5 of their last 6 at the core, 8 and 5 against the spread of the core as an underdog. And key number here for me, road favourites off the interstate trip, they covered just 34% the last 4 years. So, Penrith a great bounce back team off a loss, great bounce back team off a bad defensive effort. But I'm all over South this one. I think this line is way too big.
Beautiful stuff. Easy bet, auto bet. And you've sent out a 3.5 unit play there at plus 11.5. So nice way to start Thursday night, full of confidence, which is great. Friday night at Marvel, we've got Carlton versus the Western Bulldogs. So keep saying it, another couple of teams that are out of the 8, but this looks like a fascinating clash here. You got the Bulldogs 178, 198, the Blues, the Lions 1.5, and the totals 172.5. This looks like a leave alone game for Scooty Bet.
Yeah, won't be leaving it alone, Scoot. Been invited by your friend Nicoletta to the I think it's the President's function on Friday night. So hopefully they're not serving goat beer and we can enjoy maybe a Japanese lager there, Scoot. But tough game to line up here again, Scoot. I think form-wise, I'm probably just going to shade the Bulldogs at the line. I don't think there's too much in them on form. Probably the Bulldogs, but geez, they've got some injuries as well. Although Carlton have lost Mackay this morning, apparently out of the lineup. So and Carlton are struggling for form. I'm pretty keen on the over again here, Scoot. Again at Marvel, open 170. Hasn't moved too much yet at 172, but pretty keen this total get to at least 175 by game time. Head to head between the two of them, 3 of the last 4 have gone over 186 points, even though Carlton have had 8 straight under games. So I just think there'll be some scoring in this, Scoot. I think the Carlton have got to loosen up and try and score to win some games. I think they're averaging 64, only a small sample size. But yeah, I think getting away from the MCG will help them on a faster deck at Marvel, Scoot. So I just think they're probably unders by a goal here at this stage. So happy to take the over. And if you're going to have a bet, I'd probably just shade the Bulldogs.
Can you smell what's cooking at Carlton? Yes, I can. It's a Voss sacking, so they'll need to win this one if Voss is going to survive another couple of weeks. It's going to be a photo finish in the AFL and NRL. There's coach sacking just around the corner. I can just feel it. I can
Blood's
see
in
it.
The water, Scooty. Blood is in the
water. I think last week, if I had to price it, I would have thought that AFL was $1.10 to go first, but there's been a little bit of a drift, couple of little upsets last week, so I think AFL's probably now out to $1.30 first coach sacked over the rugby league, but they do love a sacking up north. So watching with bated breath there. Let's talk about the Battle of Brisbane, the Story Bridge Showdown. If you like that top rope, if you know what I'm talking about here.
I do not like that. I do not like any stupid name for a derby.
$1.19 the Broncos, $4.60 the Dolphins in the Battle of Brisbane, and 13.5 the line here at TopSport, 50.5 the total. They'll have points. PBL's just trying to copy the AFL and make these scoring contests. Nick Tedeschi, how are you betting?
Well, I can tell you one thing. PBL is not trying to copy a single thing from the AFL. That's for sure and certain. I don't know how you don't back the Dolphins here. I know there's a lot of buzz around the Broncos. I've really put myself into a corner on this one by taking the Broncos and being chips in the Dolphins. The Dolphins have been utterly horrific through 3 weeks. They have really been very poor. They had excuses playing the first couple, but last week against the Tigers, that was embarrassing. So, but 14.5 is a big number. They've played 4 derbies already. Broncos have won 3 of the 4, but Dolphins have covered 3 of the 4. They tend to be pretty close. No match top 46 points. So that's a big number. I think, regardless of how they've been playing, there's too much talent on the Dolphins side to not win with them. The Broncos haven't covered any of their last 10 at the Suncorp. They've covered just 3 of their last 9 when favoured by 12.5 or more. Michael Maguire's their coach. He's 49-88 the last 7 years as a club coach, and his assistant is Trent Barrett. So very happy to be with the Dolphins here. They covered 7-11 getting double-digit start, 6 of 8 of a double-digit loss. Look, it might be last chance saloon for the Dolphins. Well, I'm backing and keep the one close.
Oh, Jesus. I think you're just tipping the Dolphins plus here in spite. The YouTube comments are going to light up. You're just getting caned every week about your opposition to the Broncos, and you just put more bait on the hook.
Here's a tip. They didn't cover last week. They lost the week before, so I'm still waiting for the long list of apologies should be coming my way.
I think they're still waiting for one of your apologies, but I'll have to break it to them. They just never come.
Good luck. Tell them to get in the queue.
Even when Nick Tedeschi's wrong, he's right.
Well, he mightn't be right, but he goes very silent very quickly.
Let's have a look at probably the biggest match of the year thus far in both codes. It's Hawthorn versus GWS. It's first versus third down at Tassie. What a spectacle. Don't worry, Brendan Gale. Tasmanians love the Hawks, and you can jam it. We're going to still play games there, whether you like it or not, whether you got a team or not. Hawthorn are $1.51 at Launceston. GWS $2.50. The line's 11.5. 166.5 the total. What are the Hawks made of, MG?
Yeah, looking forward to this one, Scoot, as you build it up. Definitely match the round, discussed early in premiership betting. I think this will decide the favourite going forward for a little bit. But, yeah, first v third, both undefeated. Probably got 0 excuses for both here. Hard to find a strong side. I just think with the value, I think the Giants getting 2 goals seems to be a decent margin. But, geez, to offset that, Scoot, your Hawks go enormous down at Tassie, won 9 straight down there and covered 8 of them at UTAS Stadium. So they're very difficult to beat down there and go against. So I think the value's with the Giants definitely, but it's without conviction on this one. I think it'll be more the battle of your Hawks v my Giants for this year. I think I like the sides. Both play very aggressive offense, build on the back of good defences. So I think this will be a good spectacle. The weather looks pretty good down there, Scoot. So hopefully it'll be a cracking contest. The stats all favour the home teams here. The last 13 games, it's 10-2-1 between them head to head. And so I just think, you can make a case for either. I wouldn't talk you out of it. I just think the value lies with the Giants. They're going to have a full list. They should get back Hogan, whether Stringer plays or not, but they've got no injuries, the Giants, so they'll have 0 excuses. And I think it's a good test and a good time to get the Hawks as well, Scoot. So in terms of the total, I think the market's about right. Stats-wise, the last 9 have gone under what the current total is of 166. So if you're favouring away there, head-to-head, the last 5 straight have gone under. So I'd probably swing maybe to the under with both very good defences. But, yeah, looking forward to this one, Scoot.
I think Hawks match up pretty well against GWS, so I don't think we'll hold any fear or no dramas with this one. And I think it'll be a good test of our new look back line. So now with Barras and Battle back there, I think we'll be able to account for their forward line. So I think it's going to be a ding-dong battle, and whoever turns up on the day will get the points. But I don't think I can bet and can't find an error in the market. Let's have a look at Saturday night. It's Sharks versus the Bulldogs at 6 versus 2nd. They're going sneaky good, the Bulldogs, and they're outside of here. They look a massive price. Cronulla 125, Bulldogs 385. Wow, this market looks absolutely wrong. 45.5 the total here, Mr. Tedeschi.
Not sure what's sneaky about Scoot. They're 3-0 and stepping on the ladder, so I think there's nothing sneaky about where the Dogs are at. That's fine.
Well, how are they 385 here then?
Well, no Burton, no kicker is the issue there. So there's going to be a few question marks over the Bulls' ability to score points. But I agree with you. How are they? How are they plus 11.5 from 3? They're ridiculous prices. This is a great game between two teams who have top 4 ambitions. The Sharks have absolutely dominated this matchup recently. They've won 12 of the last 15. The Dogs won last year. This is a new Dogs outfit. Covered 8 of 10 getting double digits. Covered 4 or 5 of conceding 8 or fewer. No knock on the Sharks, but they have been very patchy over the last few weeks. They look like world beaters and they look like a team that couldn't get out of the way of the Eels at times as well. So you've got to be with the plus. You've got to be with the Dogs straight out. And this is probably the best total of the week. It's already gone from 48.5 to 45.5. But it's going to get lower. The rain's going to be torrential in Sydney on Saturday, which is delightful. And these two, 6 of the last 9 haven't even topped 31 points. So real low scorers, these two. 66.1% when both teams are off and win rounds 1 to 4. So there's some good under angles here. Both strong under teams, off conceding 12 or fewer as well. So I'll be chips in the under in this one.
I'll be chips in Bulldogs plus and chips in under. I'm going to go for the double there with the rain around. It's going to be diabolical. So just amazing the weather, how it just hits in the Sydney Autumn Carnival for the GGs, and there's some great angles. So you just got to keep your eyes on the Weather Bureau in Sydney at this time of the year because it affects the totals like nothing else. It's great. Let's have a look at Sunday. It's the last match. It's the Western Derby. Fremantle Dockers $1.22. West Coast Eagles $4.10. 26.5 the line, and the total's 167.5. Well, Freo should get the job done here. There'll be last leg multi-jobbies with most AFL punters, but wow, it's sickly short at the $1.22 of what we've seen thus far, MG, I think.
Yeah, it just shows how bad they kind of rate West Coast, I guess. It is, even though it's only early, 17th v 18th, so it's not a great sign for Western Australian football going over there currently. But they get a packed house. West Coast, other listed home team here, Scoot. Even though West Coast did an amazing job to come out of the blocks against Brisbane in Brisbane last week and didn't, covered their big line, I just think might take a bit out of them, Scoot. They seem to struggle in the heat up there, so with the travel and that kind of factor. But can't come into West Coast. Even though both sides haven't scratched a board, 0-2 this year, West Coast have lost, I think it's 29 of their last 30 games, Scoot. So
Jesus,
they're very difficult to try and tip. I thought the week before price Freo 27.5. We haven't really got any favours there, but they did come out on Monday, try to post 18 in this game, Scoot. So we had to double play it, which now makes it a max play 5 unit in this game. So you have to get pretty keen on Freo, and it's a good cheer. So we've taken 27 and 18. That's the reason for the 2 plays. So the market's about the 26 now. They've won 6 out of the last 7, Scoot, Freo. They haven't covered their last 5 as favourites, so that's a bit of a concern. But, I just can't come into West Coast. I think they're a really bad side. And if Freo have got any thoughts of making finals, then they just have to do a job on West Coast. So be cheering Freo hard in the Derby.
Must-win crunch game there. All right, let's have a look at the last game. It's West Tigers versus New Zealand Warriors. These teams are going okay. It's at 6:15 at Campbelltown. You got the West $1.65, and you got New Zealand Warriors $2.25, and the line's 3.5. Total 47.5. Nick Tedeschi, how are we going to play this one?
Yeah, beautiful Campbelltown. Great way to end the round. Tigers won the last 2. They've been markedly improved, but going to face a much different test this week. Warriors have also won their last 2 times for Goodwill against both Manly and the Chooks. Warriors won 7 straight against the Tigers. They've won their last 4 in Australia. Big worry for them is that RTS is out. He's played on with a torn hamstring last week, so count the bone and still made a match-saving tackle in the end there. So courage there, but he'll be out for 8 weeks. Big knock here is Tigers as a favourite. I think they've got a bit to prove. They look good, but they've only covered just 2 of the last 10 as a favourite. 4 of the last 11 went under $2. The Warriors, typically fast starters, covered 11 and 15 in their rounds 1 to 4 games the last 4 years. They've covered their last 3 in Sydney. I'm leaning towards the Warriors at the plus here. Better bet that will be the under. Similar angles to the Bulldogs game we just discussed. Both teams off a win early in the season. Night game, one interstate traveller, an underdog off a win, all lead to big under angles, 60% plus. So the under is also 10-2 and the Tigers play Campbelltown. So jumping on the under here and hoping that the rain sticks around.
Outstanding. And I might just have a little tickle with the Warriors plus myself to round out the week. Outstanding. All right, so MG's best. His double play. He's taking the early price Freo, so he's going the double banger minus against the hapless West Coast Eagles, who gave a little bit of a yelp against the Bears. So fascinating to see the Derby roll out there. And then Dolphins plus for the Trolls is Mr. Tedeschi's best. So can't wait to see the comments just absolutely light up with that one. So never change Toprope, and I can't wait to see you boys next week, and good luck with the weather watch up there in Sydney. Make sure you factor in the bomb radars when you're betting into anything in Sydney. And MG, as we say, the sporting capital delivers again. Sunny skies, and you're off to another event. Nothing ever changes, does it?
Well, you got to take them when you can get them, Scoot. So it's hopefully it's a good game. So hopefully there's plenty of points, and we'll have a good night. It's an interesting lineup on the table, a couple of people and it's an all betting table, Scoot. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of action going on in the President's dinner.
There you go. You've heard it from the long lunch kid himself. All right, we'll see you next week.